What's the deal, baby? Y'all didn't know Big Boss Hog, Boss Dog, K Poke through the door here to talk this boxing. Was good with you. Man, your boy tired, man. You know, I worked last night, and the day before that was my daughter's birthday. She turned 9. You know, it's amazing to see your kids grow. You know what I mean? Seeing your kids grow and watching them evolve, man, you know. Because growing up, man, I ain't gonna lie. I was gonna keep it that. I didn't want kids. You know, but as soon as my firstborn was in my arms, she 11 now. As soon as my firstborn was in my arms, I was like, oh, yeah, we locked in forever. Then the second one came. It was like, and then, you know, I'm at peace every day. You know what I mean? And, you know, I believe that God gave me daughters to kind of soften me up because, you know, I was, man, if God gave me sons, I'm telling you, man, you know, because I was raised by my dad. So my dad, man, he was rough on me. I know I would have been rough on if I had a boy, you know. So God gave me daughters to soften me up, man, because when I tell you, man, like, I was on, you know, I'm a quiet dude, but I'm a, you know, quiet, aggressive dude. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, my daughters soften me up, man. They kind of complete me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm very thankful for God for giving me my 2 beautiful daughters. Shout out to them. But, look, let's get into me. I can't even talk. Let's get into meat potatoes of the situation. Y'all gotta put some respect on Errol Spence's name, bro. You know, I thought that, like, I wasn't gonna have to make these videos no more. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you know, even in the loss, I would have thought that there'll be a little bit more respect. And it seems like he's getting more disrespected. Now, granted, I know why. Because the reason why a lot of y'all don't like Errol Spence is because he got that cosign for Floyd Mayweather. So it trickles down to, and I'm going to make a video just talking about that. It trickles down to y'all feel like this is a shot at Floyd because Floyd never lost. So many people wanted Floyd Mayweather to lose it. He didn't lose. And then Floyd Mayweather, once they saw Errol Spence get that cosign from Floyd, it was like, oh, no, we hate him too. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Any fighter that Floyd wrap his arm around and say, yeah, man, oh, we hate him too. That's why a lot of them waiting for Tank to lose. You know what I mean? Tank gonna get that same trick. Watch. Tank, the face of boxing. If he loses, watch, he gonna get the same trick. You gonna hear people do the same thing that they do in the Errol. I promise you that. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. We gotta keep it a stack. You know what I mean? We gotta keep it a stack bundle. You know what I mean? But also, a lot of people don't like Errol because you're a stand-up dude. You know what I mean? When you're a stand-up dude and you stand on your 10, you stand on your square, you know, think about it. This fight with Errol Spence. This fight with Terence Crawford. A lot of people, you know, when they was talking about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, a lot of them saying, oh, Errol Spence don't want, you know, he know what's going to happen to him. That's why he didn't want to fight Terence Crawford. The reason why that fight got made was because of Errol Spence. Errol Spence went against the wishes of his company, right? Because they told him it was bad business. He went against the wishes of his company and still made this fight happen with Terence Crawford. In which I give Terence Crawford this. He outsmarted Errol Spence. That's just what it is when it comes to the money. He outsmarted that man. You know what I mean? That's real talk. But they fought. Errol Spence lost. And it's really not the fact that he lost, it's how he lost. You know what I'm saying? It was one-sided. It's how he lost, you know, that I feel like he getting more hate and more, you know, backlash and things like that. But you got to understand that it's boxing. It happens. You know what I mean? Errol Spence had a bad day at the office. Nobody expected that. And if you sit here telling me you expected that, you're a lying motherfucker. Nobody expected him to look like that. And, you know, even the people that was picking Terence Crawford to win, they didn't expect that. they may have thought like, hey, it's gonna be competitive, and then Terrence in the later rounds will, do whatever he gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real with you. I damn sure didn't see that coming from Terrence Crawford. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. I damn sure did not see that coming from that man. You know what I mean? That was the best Terrence Crawford I've seen in all his fights. That was the best, like the best version of him. He unlocked another version of himself in that particular fight with Errol Spence. So I give him 100% credit. You haven't heard me make no excuses. But understand that, you got to put some respect on that nigga Errol Spence. The reason, the point for this video is I see too many people making, videos in comment sections dogging Errol Spence. Like, he's like a trash fighter or something. Like, one dude said, oh, Errol Spence was never an elite fighter. I said, on when? In what world? You talking about that Errol Spence that he had to force people like Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, still ain't getting no fight with Keith Thurman. All those guys, he had to force those guys to fight him. How did he do that? How did he force them to fight him? He went and got a belt. He went and got a belt, right? And he went through the man that can make these things happen, Al Heyman. Right? He went through Al, man, I want these fights. These fights ain't happening. Right? I want this fight with this, I want these fights. They got belts. We on the same promotional company. We should be able to make these fights happen. What's the problem? So they kind of did like a round robin, and they was able to get these fights made. Kind of like a Super Six. You know what I'm saying? And these fights got made, and the rest was history. Right? Not like I said, the Keith Thurman fight, he still ain't got that fight. You know what I mean? And he was able to get a Terrence Crawford fight later on. But he told y'all the game plan from the jump. I'm going to get all these belts, and then I'm going to fight Terrence Crawford. And that's what he did. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. Only thing different that he said he was going to do is he said he was going to beat Terrence Crawford and become undisputed champion. He didn't do that. That's real talk. He didn't do that. He didn't accomplish the end goal. But everything leading up to that, got the belts. Even with the hurdles and all that he went through in his career, him having to go through the accident, come back from that, eye injury, come back from that, he still stuck to his goal. He had every reason to just move up. If it ain't happening, I'm going to move up. He had every reason to. He didn't. He stayed the course. And he was able to, almost fulfill his goal. Right? He came up short. It is what it is. Sometimes you could be on the doorstep of your goal and you don't meet it. Oh, well, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, when you look at a fighter like Errol Spence, I'm going to say this. Errol Spence is a guy you look at when you describing a true champion. When you start talking about a true champion, guys like Errol Spence, Caleb Plant, Jermell Charlo, David Benavidez, I could go on and on. Guys that are true champions, where you like, when you start talking about boxing with somebody and you trying to tell them about how a true champion should be, you mention those guys. You mention Errol Spence. You mention Caleb Plant. You mention those guys. Those are the guys that they got a heart of a true champion. They not avoiding no smoke, and they getting in there and they fighting difficult fights that, they may not be favored to win, and then they just figure it out. I had one dude say that Errol Spence fought C-level fighters. Well, I say this: if Errol Spence fights C-level fighters, then Terrence Crawford fight F-level fighters. And I keep telling you, the only elite fighter that Terrence Crawford has fought was Errol Spence. Errol Spence has fought more elite competition than Terrence Crawford. A lot of people start talking about, well, Kell Brook was damaged goods. He was damaged goods, so you got to put an asterisk by that. Kell Brook fought Triple G in September of 2016. Kell Brook fought Errol Spence May 2017. Right? So where was he damaged at? Oh, it was because it's his orbital bone. If he was damaged, he would have fought a fight like Ugas just fought with Mario Barrios. He didn't look damaged to me. Matter of fact, last time I checked, when he was fighting Errol, he was winning earlier in the fight. If I'm not mistaken, if he's damaged, he was beating Errol, right? He was beating Errol the first half of the fight, and then Errol start punishing that boy, breaking him down, right? And he start winning the later rounds, and then Errol Spence stopped him. Errol broke the other orbital bone. So Kell Brook wasn't damaged. Now, Kell Brook was damaged when he fought Terrence Crawford. How was he damaged when he fought Terrence Crawford, but he wasn't damaged when he fought Errol Spence? Because Kell Brook ain't fought at 147 in 3 years prior to fighting Terrence Crawford. He was fighting at above 150 pounds. Some at catch weights of 150, one of the fights at 154. But even then, the biased UK commentators was like, Kell Brook need to retire. And that was after, and Kell Brook wasn't even fighting no top guys at 154. He was fighting strippers, dudes who were full-time strippers and box part-time on the side. He was fighting dudes like that and getting his ass whooped. So what does that mean? He's damaged. He was getting... Tell me, where's Mike Zarafa at right now? I need somebody in the comment section. Tell me what top fighter Mike Zarafa beat. Don't worry, wait. I can wait all day. I got time. He fought 3 fights. Yeah, he was 3-0. But what top fighters did he beat that you could sit there and say, yeah, Kell Brook was top tier? Now, granted, Kell Brook sat there and said, hey, I'm in the best shape of my life and blah, blah, blah. You know? He may have been in the best shape of his life. You know what I mean? That's partially true. But understand, you can be in the best shape of your life and in that ring and still have all that mileage on you and be damaged goods. And that's what he was when he was in there with Terrence Crawford. He was damaged goods. That's facts. Now, Shawn Porter, you heard me say that. Shawn Porter, I gave Bud credit for that. But truthfully, that wasn't the elite Shawn Porter. But he wasn't damaged, though. You know, Shawn Porter was still a good fighter. I still feel like Shawn Porter, after that fight, could have possibly got a belt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to keep it a stack. He could have probably fought Ugas and beat Ugas. You know what I mean? We just going to keep it 1,000. He could have possibly beat Ugas, you know, and got that WBA belt. Probably could have beat Pacquiao at that time. You know what I mean? But Shawn felt he wasn't able to perform and, train and prepare himself like he normally do. So he felt like it was best for him to retire, you know? But that's what that is. And truthfully, they genuinely didn't even want to fight each other. Shawn Porter didn't want to fight Terrence Crawford because that's his friend. Terrence Crawford even openly admitted, I didn't want to fight Shawn Porter because that was my friend. Both these dudes were friends. They didn't want to fight each other because they were friends. Right? They had to be forced to fight each other. You get what I mean? What are we talking about? The fighter that Errol Spence fought, Shawn Porter, that Errol Spence fought was a motivated Shawn Porter, right? Why was he motivated? Because his dad had high praises for Errol Spence. And Shawn Porter wanted to basically wreck all that good image that Shawn Porter, Kenny Porter, had about Errol Spence. That's real talk. He wanted to wreck that image. He wanted to be like, look, I beat the boy that you keep praising about, that you keep talking about. I beat him. Now what? That's what he wanted to do. So like I keep saying, at the end of the day, spade to spade. when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of the situation. That girl ran over that curb. I see why her car tore up. My bad, y'all. These girls be wildin', man. They just be driving their car, man. But anyway, like I said before, at the end of the day, spade is spade, to keep it 1,000. I think that we got to put some respect in Elspeth's name. Yeah, he lost, but he's still a top fighter. Now, the only thing we question is what type of fighter he going to be when he come back, right? Does this loss affect him mentally? We don't know. We could sit here and say, oh, yeah, it's going to affect him. All the fighters that Crawford fights, they are affected. We don't know. Elspeth is a different man. We just literally watched this man fly through a windshield of a car and be able to come back, I think a year later and fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to put some respect on this man's name, bro. The dude is a different, and let me tell you, he flew out that car, truthfully, I've seen some accidents. That should have killed him. But God had his hands on that man. He a different type of dude, bro. You know what I mean? God keep his hands on that dude. And when you talk about God's people, you can't play around with God's people, bro. And like I say, I just think that he a different dude. You know what I mean? I think mentally, he a strong dude. Now, granted, if you just want to sit here and say you want Errol Spence to be damaged, then just say that. But to sit here and come out and say, oh, Errol Spence is damaged, I don't think that. You know what I mean? You got people saying, oh, he mentally damaged because how he flew out the car. And this the thing. He been flew out that damn car. He done fought like 2 times since then. And he had dominant performances. He dominated Danny Garcia to make Danny Garcia. This is the thing. This is what kills me. Where else? Hey, man, hold up. I got something for y'all. Y'all stay tuned. Boss, go.